Yo, man.
All right. Good evening. So we here. This is our first show. We're here with my man Kim Samusa. We have our co-host over here, Asia Phoenix, the makeup artist, moi, and my man Hugo. So we're here. This is a very laid back show.
Yes.
We're gonna be talking about a lot of things. Some things that are gonna be very uncomfortable to some, educational to others. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a reality to a lot of us. You know what I mean? So, let's just hop right into it. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's been going on. We know we have this COVID situation, but it's a lot of stuff that happened prior to COVID. It's a lot of life that goes on that's been, you know, a lot of our reality way before a COVID ever made its way here. It's a lot of current events.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of stuff, of course, sparked off due to, you know, the George Floyd. You know what I mean? The 8 minutes and 46 seconds. You know what I mean? But it's a lot of systemic racism and situations that you know cause it. We just happen to see more of it now. You know what I mean? You get quarantined into the house, you stuck.
Right.
And you know, we all know that social media has been, you know, at its peak, more so than it's ever been since social media has existed at this present time, because people, you know, 100% workforce unless you're essential, and you're stuck, and you're watching these videos, and more videos come and compile. So, you know, which causes a level of frustration. Would you say?
Yeah, I would say a lot of people are frustrated. If you're locked in the house, you can't really go out and do what you want at this certain time because of COVID-19. It's understandable, but I don't understand the heightened activity of police brutality during this time. What just happened in Rochester, that man was clearly going through something, clearly. So why put a bag over his face? They clearly killed that man. Like, it's just certain things I'm questioning people's hearts and why they got certain positions. Like, I'm starting to question, maybe should ex-military really be police anymore? Because are we all being looked upon as targets, like, you know, from over in Afghanistan? Or are we going to be really given a chance? Like, I'm really questioning the moral fabric of certain people that's taking certain jobs right now, because that man needed help. He didn't need to have a bag over his head, and he should be alive today, basically.
Right.
Same Jacob Blake should be walking too today.
Right.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Asia, how you feeling about it?
What, didn't they say that the guy in Rochester was naked?
I don't know if he was strictly button. I don't know if he was fully naked, but
He wasn't properly clothed.
he wasn't properly
or something
clothed, and
along
he
those
was
lines,
he was manic. Like, he wasn't
Right.
even. It's very upsetting, and it's like I'm a plumber, so for me to become an apprentice plumber takes 5 years. So how are you able to determine whether somebody lives or dies with 6 months to a year of training? That's bullshit to me.
Right.
So, like, I think there's more training that need to be done.
I think it's beyond training.
Oh, yeah.
It's well beyond
It's beyond training. It's beyond reform.
It's simply dealing with the fabric of America and where policing in America stems from. It comes from slave catchers, first of all. The real law in the land on a federal level is the marshals. The law of the land in the state level is the sheriffs. When you're arrested by police officers who are simply security for certain areas, that's why Niagara Falls has their own security force, Niagara Falls Police. That's why Buffalo has its own security force, Buffalo Police. That's why Cheektowaga, all these suburbs, have their own security forces that secure the borders of that town. Those are security officers. Their job is, if they catch someone committing a crime, to take them and bring them safely to the law enforcement that will hold and detain them until they're charged. That's why if you're arrested, you end up going to the county jail with the sheriffs.
Right.
But this is why we say defund the police. It's not saying let's abolish the police, even though I know that's sort of a movement as well, these abolitionists, prison abolitionists and stuff like that. However, some of these police officers should not be responding to for 90% of the calls that they get. You know what I mean? A mental health professional should have showed up for the man in Rochester, not the police. They don't know how to deal with that. There should be a 24-hour hotline. There are too many calls that they really have no business responding to.
So what do you think about the lack of diversity in the in law enforcement? I mean, I do believe. I mean, I've spoken on this a few times concerning, when you have areas like Lockport, North Tonawanda now. Of course, NT has a lot less population of blacks, but however, there still are blacks there. Right. But they don't have one police officer that's black. Same with Lockport. You have these areas. And then here in Niagara Falls, the ratio of police officers black to white doesn't represent the ratio of what our city looks like. And when you have people, responding or the lack thereof in some cases, in areas where they don't, and that's not just Niagara Falls. I think this is something, nationwide. Right. You know what I mean? Where you come and then you have that scared symptom. Oh, I was scared and they looked, intimidating and they were coming at me or whatever the case is. And so I had to pull out my gun and shoot them 7 times. Do you think that has how much weight does that have on the problem?
I don't think it matters.
I don't think that matters.
You've joined a gang, and now you're a part of this society, and you have loyalty to that. And now skin color matters not. You know what I mean? And there's, I think there's a certain loyalty that they have to keep to. And then I see articles all the time about black police officers who decide to speak out against these quote-unquote rogue cops, and now they've lost their job. So I don't think it matters what the ratio is.
First time I was ever pulled over and racially profiled, it was by 2 black cops. It broke my heart. I was 17, maybe 18. I was 18 years old. I had just got my new car. It was my second car. It was only about 3 years old. Keep in mind, I'm a college student. I'm working. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting my credit. I had no experience or nothing with any illegal activity. I'm doing everything society says I'm supposed to do. Graduated high school, went straight to college, working a job, paying for this car. I got no tints on this car, no beats, no rims, none of that. I'm driving around the corner from my house, picked up my boys, we're just cruising, listening to the radio.
Squares.
We're squaring. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this. All I wanted to do when I graduated high school was go to college, started a business. I'm riding with 2 of my friends. Some cops get behind us. Left single turn. They follow me left. Up to one street. Follow me next street. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe we're going the same place. That's why they're following me. I get pulled over on a corner around a block around the corner from my house. They get out the car. License, registration. Who car is this? I'm like, oh, it's my car. Your car. How you afford this car? And I'm like, well, because I work at the Advanced Training Center. I'm assistant facilities manager there, and I'm paying for it. There's a bunch of these questions. I asked him, I said, officer, if I didn't know any better, I would feel like you're insinuating that I acquired this car through illegal activity. Is that what you're saying? I said it just like that. They like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. My boy in the back like, that's crazy. Right. He said, you shut up before I lock you up too. Say something else, you're getting arrested. 2 black cops. Now, when I seen these 2 cops got out the car, I was relieved because I'm like, oh, these are 2 black cops. They should not look at me and racially profile me, but that's exactly what they did.
It's the mind state of the person. I don't really care about the color.
Worse.
It's the mind state.
It was worse.
I hear that it's actually worse. I've seen things where they were saying that the statistics of violent interactions between civilians and police officers, a lot of times it is typically higher with black police officers and black civilians.
Right. And that's why
I think they've got something to prove.
They do.
And they also have quotas to fill. Where it's like you're not pulling over enough black people.
See, I don't feel like they have anything to prove because I was a correctional officer for a few years, so I feel like it's more like when you're in that academy, they just brainwash you. They just really beat in your head that
it's us against them.
No, it's like we're a unit. We're gonna make it out alive. We're gonna be safe. We're gonna be this, da 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 da. But I feel like when you have cause I can say from my own experience as a black man, I felt like, all right, I got to make sure I'm safe along with these guys. I got to make sure they safe. Right. But then when I was working in the prison, I started seeing that they didn't feel that same way with me.
Yeah, of course.
They was like, when the riot happened, I told him I got to let you, I got to go. they jetted off. So you know what I mean? So I was like, damn, well, I see it's a big difference in how we was taking our training. I was taking it like, oh, we all together. We all brothers, forget race. They still seeing race at the end of the day.
How did that make you feel after going through all that with these people?
I quit a week later.
Really?
I quit a week later. A week
That's
later, I was back up here.
That is integrity.
I left Alabama.
I feel honestly, and you know, I've been paying attention to like, you know, police brutality and just, you know, interaction with police. 'Cause I've been pulled over more times than I can count. I've been driving since I was 16. I look young now. Imagine how I looked at 17, 18, 20, driving nice cars and things of that nature. I was always being pulled every weekend. It got to the point Saturday night, 2 in the morning, if I ain't got pulled over yet, something wrong. So I've had countless interactions with police. I've been pulled over in every state. Even some of my business partners, I got pulled over in Arkansas, Kentucky. They're like, damn, you really get pulled over everywhere. And I've dealt with so many police officers who, you know, sometimes were genuine infractions, and other times it was just looking in the car and I'm pulling this guy over because he's a little darker. And I've dealt with so many police officers, and, you know, I deal with them as individuals.
Right.
However, when you deal with violence with police officers, and if someone knows that they can get away with whatever, they're going to do whatever.
Right.
If violence or power goes unchecked, it becomes tyranny.
Right. Like
Our government was built upon a checks and balances.
Right.
Police are part of the executive branch of government in every state, in every level, in everything. They're the executive branch. They're to enforce the law. You got the judicial, the legislative, and the law enforcement. If law enforcement has no checks and balances, you take somebody from anywhere and tell them, hey, here's a gun. You can go outside. Anytime you got a problem, call us and we'll come 50 deep. We don't care what you did or what happened. We're going to hop on anybody's head. And if anything happens, we'll back you up. We got money to back you up. We work for the DA. And if you ever get in trouble, they'll make sure you get out of trouble. Go outside and have fun.
Right.
What do you think anybody going to do? A square, a racist, even a cool guy that day, somebody talks to him crazy. Because one of the biggest things it seems like in America that you can get in trouble for, get killed for, is disrespecting the police officer, as if we're not all adults.
Right, right.
That's true.
So, like, what's needed, for one, I'm sorry, I don't mean to just overtake all this, but I've dealt with a lot of things.
Speak on it, man. Speak on it.
I've been snatched out the car, thrown over here, and I've dealt with a lot of stuff with police. First of all, I don't think cops need to have a gun with lethal rounds in it at all. The first clip in every cop's gun should be rubber bullets. If you ever got hit with a rubber bullet or see how a person reacts to that, I don't care if you high off meth, you gonna wake up.
Right.
I don't care what you got going on. You're gonna wake up and it's gonna put you down. I think the first clip in every cop's gun should have 5 rubber bullets. Then they can have another clip behind them that if necessary, they can retreat.
Who's to say they won't say that's necessary? As many rounds as they let off on people,
and that's what I'm saying. They shouldn't
16 rounds on a young boy.
You shouldn't have a gun
like
with
that,
16
you know
rounds in
I mean?
it. You should have a gun with 5 rubber bullets in it. If it's necessary for you to use that, you should be backing up and getting to safety if you have to use that. You should not be having lethal rounds to kill somebody and then later on saying, oh, my bad, I thought that their wallet was this, their cell phone was that. You should have 5 rubber bullets to make sure that you can get to where you're going safe and get to the back of your car and fire. Now, at that point, if you let them 5 rubber bullets off and somebody's shooting back at you, throw your regular clip in the gun and save your life. But by that time, them 5 rubber bullets is used, we'll know for sure if your life was in imminent danger.
Absolutely subdue somebody.
You can absolutely subdue somebody.
Well, most of the time, those rubber bullets, they leave more damage. They can leave just as much damage as regular bullets.
Right.
So, like,
You
if
can
you
die
hitting
from
somebody,
I've been shot twice.
Oh, damn. I've never been shot.
I've been shot twice. You get hit with a rubber bullet, it's not going to do the same damage. You got a higher chance of living. Know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, that's a fact. I'm saying as far as damage, to
shoot me with a rubber bullet.
To stop you, as far as stopping you, I know the
Shoot me
force.
with a rubber bullet if I'm getting shot, for one.
Right, you rather live than die.
Right. And then secondly, all interaction with police, if any type of accusation of police brutality or anything that police is doing wrong, it needs to be checked by a separate agency.
Right.
It needs to be an agency strictly designed for arresting police and dealing with police brutality issues or anything with police. It should not be the same county, the same DA that you work for should not be handling your case. Right. If you shoot somebody,
who's going to be in charge of deciding who's going to be a part of that entity,
people.
because who's to say they won't just put more KKK members on?
And that's what I'm saying. That the whole purpose of that entity, the quota, that agency should be built with quotas. You go find cops all over the country. Anytime someone gives a complaint about police brutality, you guys get paid to get to the bottom of this. You guys get paid to arrest people. You guys get paid for any type of police corruption. That's solely what it is for.
How do we make sure that the complaints go through?
All of us.
Well, see, you're going against the system at that point.
Right.
You know what I
But
mean?
we're talking about
You want
defunding
the system to go
Right.
against the
You can't
system.
defund, like,
No, I'm
be
building
nice,
checks and
but-
balances because as of right
Yeah,
now,
that's
if a local cop does something and you have corruption in it, then they're investigated by the FBI, which is another law enforcement agency. And sometimes they do arrest cops and they do arrest. But however, you do have people in the agency that I've read cases where they say, "Oh, we're not going to investigate. We're not going to do anything,"
Right.
because those are our brothers. However, if you have another entity solely designed and solely created to be the checks and balances for any type of illegal activity in law enforcement, that's what we need to fund. I totally believe that law enforcement in any civilized society is needed.
Right.
Right.
I mean, like if we defund the police, we need to refund a new type of police.
A new type of-
you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
But you need law enforcement in any civilized society.
Right.
Facts.
But you have to have checks and balances.
Right.
You have to have a cop has to know if I shoot this gun, I'm not going to be protected. There's going to be a whole nother agency to come in,
Right.
investigate this, take me off the force. I can possibly not be paid,
Right.
and I can go to jail right away.
A real eternal affairs, not
Not
what
even.
they have
It needs
now.
to be an external affair.
Right.
I think a good question for everybody to ask themselves, and I've been reading books after just listening to different videos of people talking about abolishing the police, and I'm like, before I say that's crazy, let me read up on it and figure out if they're really talking nonsense or if there's really something to it. And I think that what a really good question was that was posed in one of the podcasts that I had been watching was, in what scenario do the police show up and ever actually help and solve a situation? And everything that everybody kept coming up with, it was like, well, geez, by the time the police get here for something like that, the crime has already been committed, the murder has already happened, the things have already been stolen, the people have already been hurt. In what scenario do the police show up and ever actually help versus making the situation a lot worse? And it was really hard. Like, can we all just come up with one scenario where you call the police and they actually make it better and then they stop something from happening? Because every scenario I can think of, I'm calling you because something has already happened.
Right.
Right.
We
It's
got
a reactive.
Right, but we got these laws where you got repeat offenders that keep getting out. I know a few that keep getting out, and it's like, if you keep the real people that's harming people, like the pedophiles, the murderers, the rapists, if you keep these people really locked up, and we can, as a community, find some type of way to deal with some of the roughnecks and show them there's a different way out. It's another way out. I think we can make a big difference in our own community.
But is
we don't
there?
need to keep.
Because
Maybe.
depending on what community you come from.
I'm talking about I can't save the world. I can't save the world. I can try to give somebody a plan. I can only start in my community, and if that works in my community, try to branch it out. But I can only start small. Like New Era Detroit, they started off only in Detroit. Now it's New Era Cleveland. They got New Era Atlanta. Like they program
Chicago.
work. New Era Chicago. Like
I don't know that it starts with programs. I think that it starts with
Opportunity.
It starts with opportunity. It starts with economics. The wealth gap. Wherever there is crime, there is poverty.
Yeah.
Right.
And wherever there is poverty, there are probably black people.
Right.
So I think that it starts there because you can put all these programs into place and, hey, say, well, you had an opportunity to do this and you could have come over here and we have this community and this fellowship and this and this and this and this and this that were set up. But at the end of the day, if everybody over here is hungry and everybody over here is, without employment, if everybody over here is without, and it doesn't matter if he went to school and, he was the only child that they didn't have the money to send him to the school that he got accepted to. And then all of a sudden you find yourself in a position where, you're about to start doing something else because ain't no program going to do X, Y, and Z for me.
No, but with these programs, they're feeding people. They're feeding kids. They're educating
you
kids.
You giving me a lunch and you giving me certain books is cool.
But
That's
if you're
great.
getting a mentorship if you getting a mentorship, and some kids need that.
A mentorship doesn't solve the problems of the black community.
It doesn't solve the problem.
Economics.
It doesn't solve the problem of the black community, but we got to be educated first. We got to get in these positions and take over. That's what we need to do. So we need more mentors. We need more leaders in our community, because we have a lack of that right now.
Absolutely, but it doesn't solve the economic, racial wealth gap, which is that is the source.
But how do we? So if we don't unite, if we don't educate our youth, if we don't educate our elders and our parents in a certain light, so they can have the education, and we all start running for certain offices and have them start coming out and actually voting and understanding that we matter at a certain level. How else do we do that?
I'm not saying don't do those things. All those things are necessary.
We don't have none of that right now.
But we had all of that. It's times communities have had all of that. Let me just give you my personal experience. I grew up in a house with my mom, my dad, and my grandma. I also had my uncles, all these great people around me. So I grew up with positive role models. At 17, I graduated high school, senior class president, top 10 in my class. Got accepted to Morehouse with no SAT scores, strictly off my GP. I mean I said GPS.
GPA, grade point average.
You don't know nothing. Strictly off my GPA and my scholastic participation. You know what I'm saying? But we didn't have the money for me to go.
Okay.
All right, cool. I go to ECC. My first semester, I'm out Friday night, just at a little high school party. I get shot and robbed. I decide I'm not going to be a victim no more, because all I wanted to do was go outside. No matter what I got in my house, when I go outside, it's dangerous.
That's everywhere.
It's not everywhere.
Where I grew up, that's real.
My little brother lived in Lancaster. He ain't had to deal with that.
I'm saying for most of people like us, that's daily.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm trying to get to. That's what I'm getting to. You can give me I grew up with mentors. My father's a man.
Right.
My father was in the military for 20 years. And then he got out of the military and worked on the trains and drove his locomotive engineer for another 23 years. Plus I had uncles who was a fireman. I grew up with good people. I wanted to be just like him. But I went outside and my community was dangerous. Right. It was gangs on this side of the street and on that side of the street. Right. I was people getting killed when I was young. I used to hear gunshots at night. I thought people was building clubhouses. That's how green I was as a child. But it's dangerous where I'm from.
So here's the thing. Here's one of the questions that because I'm gonna tell you, especially like even here in the city of Niagara Falls, I always tell people, I said, we can sit and talk all day about what's wrong with our city. I said, but if we don't have no solutions or no ideas, then all that stuff is just null and void. It gets to the point where we're just beating a dead horse in the head about everything that's wrong. So I think one of the biggest things that as a community and as a people is, how do we tweak the culture? You know what I mean? I'm gonna be honest, and when I say tweak the culture, I only can go off of everybody. We all have our own experiences, so and we're all entitled to that. When I was young, you know what I mean? I'll be 42 this month. I understood village. You know what I'm saying? When I was a kid, we had the Browns, Mr. Brown's grocery store, Miss King's, the meat store. We had the Prices. We had Mr. Hills with the dopest, chicken gizzards and rice. You know what I'm saying? Miss Packer, who was the candy lady. So she was the god to all the kids. You know what I'm saying? But then we had Mrs. Brown, and we had Miss Gertrude and Mr. Dado. These were the cats that was still on the street, watching us. So at 6 years old, I was able to walk to the store by myself, pick up some stuff from my mom, and ain't have zero problems. There wasn't nobody gonna mess with me, you know what I'm saying? Because we had those OGs that was out there that made sure, you know what I'm saying? And they'd tag your butt if you cut up, you know what I'm saying? It was one of those. I understood the village. At some point, you know what I mean, I do believe that,
crack.
The crack epidemic that came through and they put it right in the community. How do we begin to start reversing and actually trying to, because again, we can talk about the negative, and it's a lot of negativity, but when do we actually, what can we start? How can we start to reshape our culture?
I would say it's not a culture issue. It's not a culture issue, and I think that as a community, we have to get out of blaming ourselves for what's wrong. because it is not our whatever issues that we have amongst our community is not a byproduct of something that we created. And that's why I'm saying, like, when you guys say, oh, what happened? The crack epidemic happened. Well, who started that? What happened after the crack epidemic? Like, it's all going back to another source.
Government.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's going back to government. It's going back to poverty. It's going back to economics.
It's all government.
So it's like a lot of these things in your
government.
community that are happening, you wouldn't see them happening if it wasn't,
for government.
if we weren't poor.
Right.
Well, let me
Like
rephrase.
government.
Let me rephrase it, because what I mean is I'm not saying it's our culture.
Right.
I'm saying that there are things that happen to our culture that causes us to react, not even respond, because a lot of the stuff is reaction. It's the stuff that we didn't have any foreknown. They snuck it right into the community, and then it affected us. So we're here.
And it's purposely done.
Right. You know, so our thing is not, and I always say this, I say, you know, I'm definitely not talking about throw our culture away and try to build. No, because it's stuff that we have to be, we have to, we hold pride to our culture. You know what I'm saying? And this is what got us here. We're resilient for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like you was talking about before, cockroaches. That's what they look at us like. You know what I'm saying? We go through a heck of a lot more. You know what I'm saying? And then we still come back and we can make it. We add a table. We can create our own table. We've shown ourselves to be able to survive in the process. How do we attack, or how do we detox? I'll put it that way. How do we detox our culture? You know what I'm saying? To the point where, okay, the stuff that actually came in and poisoned what was good, because our culture was not bad from day one. You know what I mean?
Well,
As
you
we're
had problems before the crack epidemic.
yeah,
It was your problem started way before that, and it's all
Government.
it's all government, it's all policy, and I think that's where a lot of black people kind of lose where the real issue is. If you can follow everything back to a piece of paper of policy about where you're going to live, what you're going to make, what job you're going to have, what food you're going to eat, what toxic plant you're going to live next to. You know what I mean? There's no coincidence why all these black people have asthma. There's no coincidence why all these black people in Love Canal and all the other stuff. Like, Love Canal is not an isolated situation. Right. You know what I mean? And that was well before the crack epidemic. We're talking about when black people started migrating from down south up into Chicago.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? So, and
them deciding where
policy.
you're going to live, how many people is going to live there,
Right,
them deciding where you're going to work and how much money you're going to make. And that's what the point I was trying to make before, not to deviate from this, but regarding police interaction. If you get pulled over by a cop, right, and you're in a white neighborhood, and a cop pulls you over and say, hey, where you coming from? Where you going?
NT 10 o'clock.
Who you know? Whose car is this? Where you work at? Because if you're black in a white community in a nice car, they're wondering, how did you get that and why are you here? Because we blocked you out of education. We blocked you out of jobs. We blocked you out of finance. We blocked you out of housing. So how do you have this? The same way if you go back 100 years and they say, hey, Negro,
where your papers
where
at?
your papers at?
Right.
Why
Right.
you walking around here? Who you work for? Who gave you the right to walk around here? Because I'm part of the police or the slave catchers that say that black people can't be over here around this time or at all. Because we don't allow you to live here, work here, eat here, sleep here. Only thing you can do is do what benefits us and get the fuck up out of here before the sun get down.
But that's why I'm saying that it's policy. Because it was policy that got us where we are, and it can only be policy that will get you out of it.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you do on your own, because we could do all the rallying and the protesting that we want to do, but when you're rallying and you're protesting, you should be asking people for policy.
Right.
Not, oh, you know what I'm saying, give me symbolism.
Like
We need
me.
legislation.
You know, I don't want a
legislation
statue,
reform.
and I don't want Black
Legislation
Lives Matter
Definitely.
on the
I mean, we need
pavement.
real reform. That's why I say, like, no, that's why I say programs, because my real plan, which I got into an argument with a guy on here before, was, then why don't we just separate? Do Malcolm X's 50-point plan to just separate? You get your half, we get our half. Let's see who survives. Because then it sounds like we're begging for Acceptance.
No, it's not. No, begging
somebody owes you. Understand that you ain't begging nobody.
No. It's overstood. It's overstood.
Yeah,
my education on my people is ridiculous. It's overstood. But my thing is, we're asking and looking for the same thing. Have we gotten anything? Have we gotten anything like the Japanese when they were thrown in camps in America? Have we gotten anything?
No.
We built everything. We created everything in which that is used today. Air conditions in which everybody loves, stoplight that in which we need for safety, the gas masks in which our military use. So my thing is, for certain patents that we don't get paid for, are we gonna get paid for these patents in which our creators, which are black, never got paid for, or are we gonna separate and you gonna give us the money that way, like
reparations?
Because that's my only thing. Because if you see money start coming out, until only black people check, that's when you're gonna start seeing war. That's when you're going to start seeing war.
We ain't got to see war because it's all about policy. If the government decides that policy. But I'm saying we can't sit here and say this is what we want, this is what we need, and then turn around and say it's not going to happen. If we say this is what we want, this is what we need, then we got to work towards it.
Kamala Harris. They're giving us Kamala Harris and telling us to shut up now.
No, they're giving us Kamala Harris.
They try to
if we're smart enough to say we're not accepting Kamala Harris.
People loving Kamala Harris right now.
That's
because
they're uneducated.
Drooling over Kamala Harris
right now.
Uneducated.
Yes. They're uneducated.
Like, so,
yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like giving us Joe Biden, Mr. 1994 crime bill. I know I know what I wrote in the damn bill. They're giving us him and Kamala Harris. They're giving us,
and that's why we got to vote Democratic down ballot. We're not accepting those candidates.
Nobody's accepting that.
All right, and that's what we have to educate everyone on. Not to cut you off, Dante.
Oh no, you good.
But that's what I'm saying, bro. That's what we need those programs there. So you can.
Program and policy are two different things.
Program and policy is two different things.
So you wouldn't tell the kids in your neighborhood this information.
Yes. I'm putting it in my new rap so they can hear it.
So basically, that's a program.
No, it's not.
That's a program. That's a manual.
A community program and policy within your government are two totally different things. Because policy is going to change your life. Program is just going to help the community.
No. We're trying. No, you're trying to aim. Your aim is for the policy, but you're trying to still program everybody in your community to things that they did not know, to ignorances that they never knew.
You're just talking about.
Hold on just a second. We got a call coming in. Hold on, we got a call coming in. Hold on just a second. Let's see what's up. Hello, this is Black Reality Unscripted.
Hi, guys. This is Noelle.
What's up, Noelle?
Hey, sorry I tuned in super late.
No, you good.
Because I'm like in a rush, but I just want to call and say I'm so proud of you guys, and I am so glad that this is happening because I've been waiting for this forever. And you guys are doing a great job.
Appreciate it.
So, no problem. Just keep doing a good job. You guys are doing awesome, and I support all of you guys 100% on anything.
Thank you so much.
Noelle has her own channel as well, everybody.
Absolutely. Y'all follow. Y'all make sure y'all follow. They do their thing, her in court.
Yeah, it turned into like the total opposite. But like, because Dante and Kempson know where he is, and I was like, we just can't be serious. So, but yeah, you guys are awesome, and I just thought it was like, I had to say that. So it's a little weird. Okay, so not weird that I have a Black Lives Matter sign in front of my house because I wanted it, but the guy so it got stolen off my front lawn, and I'm like, yeah, right. So I'm kind of thinking it might be the guy 3 houses down. So if it is, I'm going to take his Trump sign off his lawn. If it's him. I just gotta prove that it's him, but I will take that shit. I'm just saying. I just can't really I just don't understand who else it would really be. So I mean, I'm just gonna go with him, but yeah. So if you guys see me arrested or anything like that, it's because
don't tell we don't.
I'm going.
Don't say that.
No. I'm not even from Niagara Falls.
Yeah, you from China.
My name's not Noelle at all. All right, guys. Just want to say congratulations. Love you guys, and I support you.
Thank you much.
Thank you for calling in.
All right. Yeah, have a good day, guys.
You do the same.
Bye.
All right. So while we at it, let me just kind of throw you guys can call in. The call-in number is 716-236-5688. Again, that is 716-236-5688 if you want to chime in on some of this good conversation. Let's segue into another portion that y'all was talking about, you know what I mean? And we were when I heard it mentioned of concerning the protests. Because it's a lot of subject matter in between all of it, when it comes down to the protest, because you got people saying, well, that's enough, or, well, you already protested, or why? And then you start talking about, looting, and as if the looting and rioting is all black folks. When you zoom in, you see, it's not, it's it's more than, you know what I mean, than what the media is putting out. So, what's y'all take on, far as the protests, especially when it concerns Black Lives Matter? Because I mean, some people, I'm not gonna say a lot of people, some people, try to dig real deep into the Black Lives Matter. For me, I say it's look at the message, and I was talking to one of my Italiano friends, and he was like, "Yo, like, I understand what you're saying." He's like, and he was just like, maybe should we say Black Lives Matter also, or as well, or because like people try to make it. I'm gonna tell you where I understood what his point was. He wasn't trying to say, "Yo, you should change it." He was saying for all of the people that's always fighting against it. He said it's a simple concept. Black lives are not mattering in the United States, and to everybody else around them. He said, "I get it." He was like, but sometimes he's like, I feel like you got to dumb it down to other people.
It's 3 words.
Right.
It's 3 words. Right. It don't get no dumber than that. And
you know what happens? Because of, some people feeling of superiority, they soon as they hear that, they make it seem like, oh, well, they're trying to say that Black lives matter more than everybody else, or all lives matter, or blue lives, Smurf and Avatar lives matters.
Matters for justice, though. Like, that's why I start to lose my mind when they say, like, "Oh, so you saying my life don't matter?" Obviously, your life matter, because when that day in court, whoever killed someone you love or killed someone that looked like you, trust me, he is not
done. He's done.
And if he's my complexion, he's done. He's done off. So, like,
we got another call. Hold that thought for me, though. Black Reality Unscripted. How are you?
I'm blessed. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love the conversation. This is Jackie again. But my thing is, I was wondering, did anybody take a good look at the monies that is circulating, and how we have the White House on our monies, but we have Black people hanging by a noose from these pictures on our money?
I heard about that. Was that like the $20 bill or something like that?
The $20 bill and the $10 bill. And as a matter of fact, I magnified the $10 bill. I magnified the $10 bill bigger, and you can see the Black man literally hanging from the back of the $10 bill as well, if you zoom in. So I don't understand how we as a people, as a Black people, actually sat and took this for all these years. Honestly. Like, when are we going to wake up, and what are we going to do about it as a people?
You got to understand, first of all, I was totally unaware of it. I'm quite sure a lot of us are totally unaware of this.
Yeah, that just came out.
I've seen that circulating, and they said it was a lamp, like a lamp post or something like that.
It would almost look like a lamp, and I actually have it.
It's on the 10 or the 20?
It's on the 10 and the 20. And the weird thing is,
right here. I see it.
Yeah, on the 10 as well. And if you zoom in the middle, and I was very shocked, and I'm like, okay, as a person of color, we should be able to have some kind of liberty from this stuff, because this is really casting a bad covering on us as Black people. We are working to make this money, but yet and still we are shown as nothing on this money as well.
That's when we got to educate ourselves. I feel we got to educate ourselves on more than just our, fully on our American history, which they don't really teach us, and further abroad. Like, we got to start having more love for anybody that's our complexion. We got to start having more love for all.
I totally disagree.
How can you disagree with that?
Let me explain it.
How can you disagree with that?
I'm going to explain it. And this is a great topic right here.
Yeah, I want to get into this.
Yeah, because we have to first understand, like, yes, now we as Black people, us, does your family come from plantations and slavery?
Yes.
Okay, Dante, your family comes from plantations and slavery?
Yeah.
Like we gotta
baby?
start having more.
Yeah.
I
don't know. But I don't know if my people came here from the Atlantic slave trade. I don't know if we had already traveled here. I don't know if we already traveled here and was taken over.
Don't even worry about the boat. Does your family come from neck bones, collard greens?
Yes.
Ham hocks?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Slave food. Yes.
All right, cool. So our family, we come from the same heritage.
Yes.
I have a friend whose family is from Jamaica.
So am I.
Okay, boom. She's Jamaican. Your family eating what?
My family eating curry goat, curry chicken.
Cool.
The accent come on.
Right. One brethren. So listen. And Jamaica was owned by what colony? What country colonized Jamaica?
England.
England. Okay. And you speak what in Jamaica? Patois, right?
Patois. Mm-hmm.
Right. And y'all listen to what in Jamaica?
Straight up reggae, brethren.
Reggae, dance hall, all of that, right? We
Yes.
listen to soul music. We listen to Marvin Gaye. We listen to spiritual hymns, all that. We have a different heritage.
That's a fact.
We have a different culture. Yes, we share
It's
the slave
lineage.
ships. We have different lineage.
That's a fact.
England owes her family.
Right.
America owes our family.
That's a fact.
Our family grew up on plantations that was corn and cotton and everything else. They was over there, sugar.
Yeah, we're still getting
Right.
the same treatment though. Those still
Pause.
my brothers.
There's simply different things. You are from, I'm sorry,
Jamaica.
no, I'm sorry, Niagara Falls, right?
Yeah,
I'm from Buffalo. We both black, but we from different places.
it's a fact.
I grew up in a different hood, a totally different experience, totally different everything, totally
Right.
different educational system.
Right.
So do you. We share this complexion,
Right.
but we're different in so many ways.
Right.
Now, this is what I'm trying to get back to as far as other countries, this and that. We share different heritage in this. Us as black people in America, we were so beaten and so abused. We're happy to see anybody else black. We embrace them. Hey, how you doing? What's up? Oh, you
Not
brother.
all black people do.
Pause. In general, I'm speaking in general.
Okay.
Now I'm saying we see people black and we treat them as family because we see them as black and we think that they're from the same
I know exactly what
as us. Now you see when you meet other people. Now, granted, people from the Caribbean, they went through slavery, but they know that they're Jamaican. They know that I'm not one of them niggas.
Right.
I'm over here. I'm one of these niggas. We're totally different. I'm not from Trinidad and Tobago. I'm from Jamaica. I'm not from St. Kitts. I'm from Jamaica. I'm not from Brooklyn or from Buffalo or from the States. I'm from Jamaica.
But you see where but that's
One more point.
My bad. I mean, cut you off.
Now, when you get over to Africa,
Right.
the Africans
Right.
They know the
that
difference
were
between
never
them and you.
enslaved, that were never colonized, or who benefited from our colonization.
They were colonized.
No, pause. It's some of them who benefited from our slavery and colonization. They do not identify with us at all.
That's some places.
No.
Oh, no.
If you study, really for real, study,
studied.
you can get somebody from Somalia. They don't look at Africa as a continent. It's not one big place.
Right. I
It's
know
like
that.
50 some odd countries.
I know
They
that.
do not identify with each other as the same.
And that's the problem.
It's not a problem.
It is a
There's
problem.
nothing wrong with that.
Listen, let me
You
finish.
said our
Japan-
enemies earlier, right?
Pause.
They don't look at each other like that when it's time for war.
Who?
Now, do they?
Who?
You said our enemies, right?
Who's our enemy?
Them tribes go at it all the time.
You said our enemies, right? All right, so
Who's our
all right,
enemies?
so if you look at the KKK, right? Or the Proud Boys, or the H8s, the people I seen in prison. Yeah, they different factions. Yeah, they might be Irish. Yeah, they might be this. They might be that. But when it's time for war, they line up with each other. They all see that they're white at the end of the day, and they go after it and they go and kill them other black Bloods and Crips in those prisons. They line up together. They go off of war and strategy.
Because in
We
prison
don't
is
think
blue
like-
versus green, and prison is blue
that's
versus
going
green.
on right now in the streets right now. You think these cops that's killing black people and KKK
And
member
this
are
is what
Proud
I'm-
Boys?
and this is what I'm
they
saying.
are.
This
But
is-
we look at each other as we different. All the time.
So because we are, and this
We
is
are.
why. And
But
this is
at
what
the
you
end of the
gotta
day, this is
understand.
still my brother. And a Jamaican dude over in Jamaica, you still my brother.
Listen,
But
if you
still
treat me,
getting
if you
slighted.
treat me like a brother, I'm your brother. But I'm not going to just assume that because you're black, you're my brother.
I don't just assume nobody's
That's
my
all
brother.
I'm saying, bro.
But I'm not going to tell people that because my slave because some slave master gave me the Bible not to go and read the Book of the Dead that the committed people
That's
gave.
way
Well,
to the
we're
left.
not-
That's
we're
way
not
to the
going
left. That's way to the
into-
left.
But that's what
way
I'm
to the left.
saying, though.
You dealing
But
with esoteric knowledge and everything. I'm simply dealing with heritage.
Well, no, the word that everybody is missing here is lineage.
Thank you.
Because lineage always matters. Because if they say today that they're going to give you reparations, Does somebody Jamaican whose family never went through slavery
We're
here?
talking
It
about the
doesn't lineage
slight
matter?
of a people. Those people were over in the Caribbean. So you just
I was
said
talking
earlier,
about
the British.
we were talking about lineage.
Okay,
That's what
We're talking about lineage.
We talking about lineage.
You just said
But
being
you-
slighted.
I said
Excuse me,
I said it's a difference between all blacks. We're not
There
all the
is-
same.
There is.
That's all I'm
We're-
saying.
we're
Yeah.
dropped
That's all
off.
we're saying.
But that's what we're saying.
Hold on.
Excuse me.
We gonna kind of go on.
I have a question.
Yes.
Since we all know that Africans came here before Christopher Columbus. They settled here, and the ones that were brought here on slave ships, okay, they were the ones that were put in a situation that they were enslaved. Okay, but it still doesn't stop the fact that we are all from Africa, and we've all been spread all over the globe. Africans were traveling before the white people
Way
were
before
here.
we were already here.
Way
You're telling the
before.
truth.
They covered
You're telling
every-
the truth.
But you hear this from people like us. No,
I hear this from
pause,
everybody.
pause,
All
pause.
different type of scholars.
Please, let me finish. As far as this togetherness and this color coalition, you hear this from people who were oppressed. People who do not come from our lineage don't feel the same way.
So
It's Africans who will look at you and say, that is a Negro. That's a nigga. I'm not one of them.
that's some people. Not all people are like that.
But you
I'm not
Wait,
saying
wait,
not all people are like
okay.
that. You do
People
have
aren't
some
like
people of a
anything.
different lineage who are allies. However, that doesn't mean that you're supposed to look at everybody.
No, you don't look at
just because of
everybody
their
'cause-
skin color. Because all skin folk ain't kinfolk, and
Right,
we always
that's
have to
a fact.
remember
saying.
that.
I know who set up Huey P. Newton and all of them.
Oh,
and all of them.
no,
I know who set up
Hold on. Let him finish.
I'm saying our own. So you're saying you can't trust everybody that looks like us. I'm
Right.
saying the same thing.
Okay.
So I know it's our own demise have been people in our own race being tricked by other people. Is that not a fact?
That's
Well,
not. That's not totally our own demise.
let's back off of
But that is
who we're
that's not
supposed to
total.
trust.
Coons aren't our total demise.
No, I ain't saying Coons were our total demise. But for the Black Panther Party, who destroyed the Black Panther Party? Coons.
No.
What?
The U.S.
They-
government
they-
spent
they-
millions of dollars to destroy the Black Panthers.
Right. Yes, of course. So they infiltrated the Black Panther Party.
You might
They
have been a
used
tool.
COINTELPRO.
You might have been COINTEL might have been a tool.
It was
But
a
who
great
did
tool.
it?
They
Don't
spent millions.
We know who did it.
Yes,
So-
FBI.
So if I say us, we need to unite and come together and fight against that. How am I wrong?
No, pause, bro. I'm never saying
How am
that,
I
bro.
wrong?
I'm just simply saying we cannot assume that all skin folk is kinfolk. That's
Oh, I
all
know
I'm saying.
that. But I know
and
that.
I'm also
I
saying
know
that
that.
all of us are not
But
the
that-
same as
But
far as
that even
lineage.
goes. Hold on a second. That even goes back to slavery. Because if you think about it, why did Harriet Tubman carry a gun? She was going to take out everybody who was going to snitch and mess up the whole
Thank
the
you.
whole
Right.
travel
The people
for the free people.
Thank you.
So the thing is, you've always had house niggas. You've always had people who always want to tell.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, we are one people.
Right.
And the thing is, to educate you a little bit more, Jamaica was also being enslaved at one point in time when Christopher Columbus came. He enslaved us. I'm a Jamaican, Indian, and Irish. I know I'm mixed up, but the difference is I know my culture, and the culture is no different than here, and the culture is no different than Africans. Okay,
Nah,
we're
it
all
is.
Africans, and we all went through the same slavery and struggle,
Right.
no
Nah,
matter
it's
what
different.
continent we were on.
Sis, now it's a little different. It is a little different. Now, yes, we all have suffered oppression, but our oppression was different.
How is the slavery
Especially,
in Jamaica
well,
different
well,
than here in America?
listen.
You think somebody in Ghana? I'm sorry, somebody.
I'm
You
not
think
talking about Ghana.
you said all of us is the same? As we talking about people that lineage comes strictly from the Atlantic slave trade? Or is we talking about all black people on earth?
I'm talking about where my blood was traced at. When I did my ancestry, it says I'm 80-something% Mende tribe. So if I ever
Can
got
you
the
go
chance,
to the Mende tribe and claim land?
If I could go over there and build a relationship, I would love to do that. I can't go over there and claim land, no, because I'm over here as of right now.
Because they don't see you as them.
But
Because
that's
lineage
not true. You
matters.
can still buy
I
land
was
there.
not born
You
there.
can
And
buy
they're not
land.
gonna
You
accept
can
you.
buy land in Africa.
I can buy land.
You can
in
buy
Africa.
land.
You can
No,
buy-
Yes,
where
you
in
can.
Africa can you buy land? Because it's a continent. Tell me what country and what county and what city can you right now go
Okay.
as an American and buy some land and
Okay.
them accept
Okay.
you?
Okay, give
The
her, let her
black
answer.
divide-
Hold on, let her
I'll
answer.
give you-
Let her
I
answer.
will give you a perfect example. Right now, Ghana is opened up
I just about to say-
all of their travel, and everybody
Ghana
can
is
come there and become
conning
a
black
citizen.
people.
Ghana-
They're
Ghana-
conning
Hold on,
us.
wait. Hold on.
They're
Let's make
scamming.
sure. Let's make sure.
You can-
Let's give each other respect.
And also, I am looking into getting land there myself. So that is something that is not like over our heads. It is actually happening because a lot of countries in Africa, which Nigeria, you got Igbo, you got all these different places in Africa that is opening up. Not to white people now, because if you watch a YouTube special on Africa's land and people buying land, they're stopping the white people over there from buying land. They're literally stopping them from buying land. No, they're literally doing that right now.
They tried, but they couldn't. They actually gave back some of the land. They actually had to give some of that land back to some of those white people. Actually, that just happened recently. I know what you're talking about, though. But then they end up having to give it back.
Africa? Or was it in Ghana? Because there's so many countries.
Over in Africa.
I mean, but I'm sorry, and sis, with all, right? I thought it was in South Africa. Sis, with all due respect, so many of us black people always just say Africa. Africa is not one country; it's a continent with multiple countries. So when we speak of the continent of Africa, and we talk about things that's happening over there, we need to specify what country we're talking about, because something that's happening in Ghana has nothing to do with South Africa. Something that's happening in South Africa has nothing to do with Madagascar. Something that's happening in Madagascar has nothing to do with Seychelles. Something that's happening in Seychelles has nothing to do with Egypt.
Well, I guess I'm like Killmonger then, because I feel like if something is happening over there, like the slave trade in Libya, I feel like as black people, we should all be sticking up for those black people getting beat the shit out of right now.
That's great.
You don't feel like that, and that's fine.
No, my thing is I'll put up a Facebook post for it, but all my energy is going right here for us.
Yeah,
because nobody from Libya came over here to help us. So I'm only concerned with us.
But they're not able to. So how?
I'm not able to either. I can't go to Libya and do shit.
I'm saying, but we can.
But there is ways of helping people outside of this country without having to be there.
Sis, I'm only concerned with you, bro. I'm only concerned with you. I'm only putting my energy, my time, and my money into what's going on right here with us. We got so much issues right here.
But that's a fact.
We so worried about everybody else, everywhere else, and they're not worried about us. I could have swore we went through 400 years of slavery, and not an African came over here to do nothing.
They was getting their whipping too. Like, come on.
And let me.
Why don't we just worry about ourselves?
But you know what? That is real funny, because I have something to add to that. Can I add to that? Because what you said was really important. Because I realized that even with Africans coming here, and I'm using them specifically because I have many African friends. Do you know, when we came here too, at the airport, they would tell us, immigration would tell us, don't deal with these American people.
Yes.
Don't deal with these people. Stay away from them.
All of that, and they come over
horrible.
Thank you.
And that's why Africans act so standoffish towards us too.
Let me just say,
that's white supremacist. That's a white supremacist like mind state, like to destroy your mind so bad when you look at somebody that looks like you and be like, stay away from them.
Bro, tribalism existed before they got over here. That's why you got different tribes and fighting in Africa. There was genocide happening in Africa by other Africans that was totally separate of any influence from whites.
Let me give a quick disclaimer. Because one thing about it, I don't want people to mistake where our conversation and our dialogue. What y'all see is passion. Ain't nobody mad up here. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how, you know what I'm saying? Because people, you know, I'm gonna keep it at 1,000. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 because that's just a part of the culture. We speak with passion. You know what I'm saying? So when you see us like yo, it's not, ain't nobody mad up here, because guess what? We gonna hug and shake it out, and there's gonna be times where we agree to disagree, and there's sometimes where we'll be able to, you know, like get an understanding of each other or whatever the case is.
Right.
And something, you know, and we all have a right to our own opinion and how we feel. So that's my disclaimer for the show, because I don't want nobody, you know, looking on here saying, oh, they hate each other. Look at them, they can't even get on. Because the true story is that we just passionate at the end of the day.
Nobody knows the formula to get us all, you know, where we need to be. Nobody knows, but we are. I can tell we all progressively trying. Like, we all progressively trying in some way to get us there. I do believe Malcolm X's 50-point plan is one of the best things in the world. That's just me.
Well, I just kind of want to clarify what is being said as far as lineage and what we're trying.
Sis, can you mute your background until you talk? Because we kind of hear it.
Yeah, we hear a little.
She's still there?
Hey, Jack.
Oh yeah, okay, mute.
Yeah,
Will
we
do.
can hear your background.
I'm so sorry because I'm definitely listening and watching at the same
Hey,
time.
let me tell. Hey, well, you know
I got
what?
two phones going because I can't be on the phone and be listening to. Okay,
Okay,
let
so
me work
hey
this out.
Jack. Well, I'm gonna free up the line real quick, so just in case some other people call in, but we're gonna be doing this every Saturday, so I mean, feel free to chime in. Be Saturday at 5:00.
I will, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, love.
God bless everybody. God bless you all.
God bless you.
Me too.
I wanted Big Baby to finish her. point.
If I didn't
Yeah.
say already, everybody can call me Big Baby.
How about lineage?
Her nickname Big Baby, y'all.
Everybody call me
Okay.
Big Baby already. You can call me Big Baby. But lineage does matter when we get into politics, and lineage does matter when we get into identity politics. I know identity politics sounds like a bad word. However, it's important when you start coming to your government with an ask. Because if I start asking for something and I say, all black and brown people, and then it starts going to all these brown communities and black communities, but they're not necessarily circling around to descendants of slavery.
Right.
They're going to the Somalian communities, and they're going to the Guyanese communities, and they're going to different Hispanic communities. So when we say lineage matters, it's not to say that you can't have an ally. Right. It's not to say that these certain people who are maybe of the same skin tone, but blackness isn't flat. It's not Crayola. Right. You know what I mean? So you can't treat it like, oh well, we're all the same. You're brown, so we're all the same.
Right.
It's not so, and you'll find yourself in a whole lot of trouble when you start saying we're gonna. I think it's kind of asinine to be like, oh, we're all black and it's all the same. You cannot treat it like it's flat,
right?
Because it is not, and we find ourselves in really hard places when we do. And she is right. When a lot of these Africans, when they first come over, they are told not to fraternize with us,
right?
And they do know that there is a specific difference between us and them. And it doesn't matter if they are dirt poor with absolutely nothing. Typically, they are not when they come over here, because you got to have a certain amount of money before you come over. Otherwise, you know what I'm saying, that those programs don't even let you through.
Right.
However, they are told that we're on the bottom.
Right.
And it would benefit them, and that we're trouble, and it would benefit them to make sure that they keep themselves separate. I stopped doing makeup for a certain person who was from Africa, and her family is well-to-do, and they have a really successful business. And then I seen her get on Facebook and say, we need to support Trump as our president and respect him as such. Do you think she sees herself the same as you? Do you think she thinks that there's no difference? Do you think when they're calling you a kata?
No, that's why I don't. That's why I said it's not.
Well, I don't mean you. I'm not talking to you in general. I'm just saying you as in like
I'm talking you as because you me, bro.
Right,
you're me.
And then also,
but like, my thing was like, if we see like that African person was like, yo, I feel like we all the same. I feel like you my brother. I'm like, yo, you my brother.
He feels like that.
Right, but I'm saying like, how do we get the masses to feel like we all. You know what I'm saying?
We don't need that.
We don't need
that. The only mask you need is you. The only mask you need is another ADOS person.
How do we get
that's who you need,
ADOS
because that's
people?
your clan, and that's your culture, and that's your village, and that's your tribe.
That's a fact.
And here's the thing that drives me absolutely crazy.
It
grinds my gears. What grinds my gears is that a lot of people will come over of other lineage. They'll come over to America and they'll say, we're all the same when it comes to getting benefits. They'll say, we're all the same when it comes to saying, well, I experienced this too, and I experienced this too, and we're all the same. But then if you say, oh, well, we're all the same, depending on what the situation is or what the circumstance is or what the scenario is, they'll be like, no, I'm not. I'm from Jamaica. I'm Jamaican. No, I'm not. I'm Guyanese. Right. I'm from Ghana, and this is what we do. And black people. I've seen so many people from other places say that we are uneducated, we're lazy, we don't want to do this. But the truth in the matter is, they wouldn't be over here if it wasn't for everything that we fought for.
Right.
All the policy that we fought for. You couldn't get here if it wasn't for us.
And that wasn't until 1965 when they signed the Civil Rights Act and also signed the Immigration Act that allowed all of these immigrants to come over from these other countries. They came over after all the work was done.
Yeah.
And also, you have to be careful about lineage and saying, oh, this big black and brown coalition, because a lot of times all these other organizations and all these other groups of people will use everything that you worked for, your community, all the programs, all the policy, and they start using it for their own thing and for their own agenda. And you can't always let people leech off of the work that you've put on the ground. Right. And then when you find yourself at a rally or a protest, or people are being killed in the street, you don't see those people
at all.
But they're using all of the policy that your forefathers and your ancestors and all these other people worked for. You have to be very careful about lineage, and it really does matter. And people think that it's gatekeeping of blackness, and it's not. It's not. It's okay to make a distinction, because if you can make a distinction, then I can make a distinction, and that's okay.
And I love what you're saying. Like, that's what I said. Like, I do. I'm so for our self-preservation, but I'm like, how do we get all of us? Like the ADO,
because politics is personal. You have to always remember that. Well, you have to get people off of this. You have to get people off of the notion that we're all the same.
First.
Right. You really have to get people off of that notion. That's how you can get everybody kind of together.
We have to realize, and we have to educate. This right here is a vehicle for that.
Right.
So we have to first realize, listen, all black ain't flat.
Right.
We're a specific group of people,
right,
with a specific lineage
and a specific claim,
and a specific oppression,
right.
And who oppressed us, why, and what they owe us.
Because yes, Jamaica went through their own slavery, but they also fought for their liberation, and
we wasn't over there,
and we're still being oppressed.
I can't get $1
400 years later.
I shouldn't go to Jamaica. I shouldn't go to Jamaica. Right. Be able to get a house land over there, and let's say the native Jamaicans fight. And they press England to pay them reparations for the slavery and everything that went on, and think I should get a check.
Right. And whatever CARICOM is fighting for, I can't say I should get it. You know what I mean? And how dare me go anywhere and say, oh, well, I live here now. Give me some of that.
Any Jamaican, any Caribbean to fight for reparations from their colonizer and be paid for the free labor that their ancestors did, and the oppression that happened, the racial oppression that happened afterwards.
Right.
But ours is specific. They didn't have Jim Crow in the Caribbean.
We're talking about slavery. We're talking about Jim Crow. We're talking about
the 94 crime bill. We didn't have when they used to snatch black people. You know, all of these loitering laws and all this stuff.
They didn't have the Red Summers.
They didn't have sundown towns over there.
I know our history. I love our history. Right. Like how traumatic and how sad it is. I know it, and I know they went through it as well.
Their own.
You know what I mean? And I want them to still claim it. Like, I should never be able to go to Jamaica and live better than a Jamaican. That's how I feel.
Right.
I feel like they should be just as profitable as I should be here in America, but we're not. Like, we still going through the same
we got
atrocities.
Different countries.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're going through the same. We are going through the same. I know we're going through the same atrocities.
Well, basically, we're all victims of white supremacy.
Right.
We're all victims of colonization.
Now,
right.
With that, with that, what you're saying, because I want to put, like, there's enough. I get what Kimson was saying as well. I get what y'all saying too, because it's a lot of you want to go to the root of the issue. Of course, I get that. So when we go into the details of the tribes and we go into the detail of the matter, yes, you got to go to the root of it. I think one of the questions or that may be put out is, especially when you're talking about unifying, is we live here in the U.S.
Right.
And regardless of whether I was from Uganda or Somalia or wherever, at the end of the day, if a white police pull me over and he having a bad day, he ain't gonna care nothing about where my tribe is from or who I'm coming. So I think and I'm just trying to piece it together.
But anything we fight for, if we fight for police reform or something like that, that will always trickle down to anybody else who's brown. So it's not like we have to be like, oh, well, they don't know the difference. Let's just fight for it for ourselves. Yeah. And that will trickle down to them. They will reap the benefits just like everything else we fought for and put in place in the policy.
Now, when you say ourselves,
trickles down to them.
We're talking about us, AD.
We're talking about people lineage of
Black Americans.
Yes.
Black Americans who live in America who are the lineage of slavery.
Of chattel slaves,
I totally get it.
Like, they don't care. Like, my Arbery was not American.
Say it again?
My Arbery, I don't believe he was American, but he was not like, I don't think we share the same lineage.
No, we don't share the same lineage.
But we do have to still support that and protest that only because it sets a precedent for what they get to do to everybody else.
The officer that that gun, well, not the officer, the people that gunned him down, those 2 men that gunned him down, they didn't give a damn if he was, you know.
Understand that.
You know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying, someone coming from any other country,
right,
comes over here. They're coming to America,
right,
looking for an opportunity to make money.
Right.
This is a money country.
Right.
They get over here. They may be totally unaware,
right,
of the racial oppression that we have dealt with.
Right.
They may have heard a little bit, but you know, in their mind, they're told, "Oh, they over there being bad. That's why they're getting it."
Right.
Not realizing it's
Right.
simply because you woke up and you black.
Right.
Now we know where it's coming from, and we have to fight for that.
Right.
Whether they
Right.
join us in a march or nothing, it doesn't matter. We gotta fight because I'm an American.
Right.
I'm not from nowhere else.
Right.
I'm from Buffalo.
And I
I'm
don't
an American.
I feel you.
don't want people to think that, I know sometimes a lot of the conversation is, oh, well, we come over here and we work really hard and that's
I
why
just
we
realized
have
I
what we
know.
have. However, yeah, you yelling?
However,
However, working at Social Security, I do understand not just people, you know, collecting a little chump change benefits or whatever, but I also see all the people who came on H-1B1 visas who are all of these immigrants, and then they're the ones really getting the jobs. Now, in this particular area, it's usually the medical field. Right. But in other places like California, Silicon Valley, it is tech.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times, if they come over and they reap the benefits of education
right.
and programs and jobs before you do.
Right.
And so that's why you'll go into a lot of these places and you'll see all of these doctors are not African American, and they think that you're just not going to school for it.
So how do we break white supremacy? Because that's really what it is at the end of the day. That people be like that doesn't exist, and it does exist. I could give people our full history of how white supremacy has continually shut down anything progressive that we've done, that we've literally done.
You can't shut down white supremacy, but what you can do is make your situation better. And I do believe that comes from being politically active so that you can fight for policies that will get you in a better economic situation. We're talking about the median black household is worth $1,700.
Right.
The household. $1,700.
Right.
The median
most black
income.
households can't afford a $400 emergency.
Right.
Think about that.
That's
but
sad.
the average value of a white household in America is what? 140,000.
I got it.
Compared to 1,700.
The median household net worth by race and education, if we want to look at, let's say, the white population, for anyone who didn't even graduate high school, their median income in the household is still $82,968 compared to that of a black household that didn't graduate from high school, which is $2,775,000.
Now what I'm trying to say is this, because now that we have gotten through all of these different things, and I hope that a whole bunch of people are listening and go back and listen to this, because you got to think how much money the government has spent, how much effort has gone into keeping us uneducated and separated.
And these numbers are because of policy.
Right.
So the median household net worth by race and employment status. Unemployed white household, the median average is $55,710. The black household that is unemployed, $1,300.
Boom. So now
that's policy.
We look at where does that come from? Like the law, there were laws put on place, and next time maybe I'm here, I'm gonna bring it and we can lay it all out.
Let's do it.
But
yeah,
there were laws put in place saying that you cannot work here, you cannot live here, you cannot eat here, you cannot stand here. And those were laws put in place. That was policies.
Right.
And there was policies also that says, okay, you know what? We'll let you live over here, and we'll let you get this a little bit of money, but nothing more. But bro, over here, he can do whatever. Right. And matter of fact, dude can come over here to this country, barely speak language, and he can live better, work better, eat better, and sleep better than you.
Right.
And there's policies put in place.
And then that's why it's important to be politically active. And I don't want people to get the idea that if you don't get it in one term, or if you don't get it in the first 10 years or 5 years or the first election, that it's just not possible. You know how long we had to fight to be free? You know how long you had to fight to get a little bit of equality? So don't think that it's going to, if it doesn't happen within 10 years.
We really agree
you
on
was just coming from one street, I was coming from another street.
But there are a lot of black people who think
we gonna meet up at the same
that if we just get Kamala and Biden in office, then everything is going to be different. Or if we get Obama was supposed to change it's changed the landscape of the black community, and that wasn't
Obama was playing.
But Obama was perfect. Obama was perfect because he is.
He wasn't you.
He was the edge. Yeah,
right.
He was a perfect example of us understanding first lineage,
right.
Us understand policy,
right.
and us understand politics. First of all, Obama, once again, he was brown. Black ain't flat. His father was from Kenya. His father knows nothing about American chattel slavery.
He doesn't know.
His mother was white.
Right.
He was raised by his white grandmother and grandfather. He grew up.
I explain that to people.
He grew up
in Hawaii.
Financially good.
And then who comes out of Hawaii with a $500,000 nest egg from their white grandmother, and then you think that you and him are the same?
No.
That's why he didn't identify with you.
No. And I explain it to people. I was never one of those.
People hate it when you say it too.
Like, oh my God, Obama. No, he don't understand what it was like for my great grandfather to go work in the warehouses, and had to come back home and not have enough. You know, it's big differences. Like, and I understand that completely. Like, that's why I say like I don't connect with Obama,
and that's why we were saying lineage matters.
Lineage definitely matters.
Because maybe he would have wanted to do more for you if his father was a sharecropper in the U.S. You know what I mean?
If Obama had got pulled over and harassed as a teenager, if Obama
the best he could tell you is I couldn't catch a cab.
Right. If he knew what it was psychologically. Right. To have your bones shake when you see cops pass by you late at night to get pulled over. Right. If he knew what it was like to walk it, I was working down in was in Kansas. I was working in Kansas last year. Going through these fields. And like I felt it.
Yeah.
I'm out there in these cornfields and these cotton fields, and I could feel my ancestors. I knew what it felt like to be able to know I could hop in my truck and drive away from this, knowing I had ancestors that were stuck to that field until they died.
Right.
Yeah. He don't know what that's like. He's not connected to that. What Obama did do was show us what it looks like to love a black woman, right, and to raise a black family, right, and to be educated and to be poised and be respectful. He showed us a lot of good things.
But he would have never even got elected had he not had Michelle on his arm.
He was a positive role model.
He was a positive role model. He was a great brown guy. However, politically, he went in there and did what he was meant to do for his constituents and for the people who paid him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He went in there and went hard for the LGBT community.
And that's why you always have to remember that politics is personal. Right. And so you can't go in there and say, okay, the way I'm going to operate when I vote is something for everybody. No. Right. Because that's where you find trouble for yourself every single time, and you keep coming out of the voting booth with nothing.
Right. Obama gave reparations to Jews from the Holocaust. Right. That wasn't even our war.
Right.
4.1 billion or something like that.
I don't know how much it was, but
it was in the billions. Billions. And then when he says something about, oh well, what about us? And he says, well, I'm everybody's president.
But that's Kamala Harris said the same thing. Yeah. I get so mad because
that soundbite was
certain people get paid annually by the USA. Certain nationalities get paid annually by
Native
the USA. So like, my thing is why are the slighted the most hated? Like, I don't understand that. Like,
it's easy for them
because we need somebody has to catch the failure. That's why.
And see, what we have to do is come to an understanding and realize who our oppressor is, what our oppressor has done, what our oppression is, and now we know what to fight for. Because at the end of the day, any situation, any stress that you have had, I'm quite sure most of the problems you had in your life outside of some terminal illness or emotional stress can be fixed with money.
Yeah, money is comfort.
Yeah.
Right. I try to tell everybody that money leads to so much comfort.
Money is safety.
Money is
happiness.
Right.
I don't care what nobody's saying, but yes, money is happiness.
Money is everything. I don't care what nobody's saying.
So imagine all of our stress, everything we went through, if we're given the money we're owed. And don't try to offer me education or offer me this. Don't tell me I got to work harder and work again for the money you already owe me.
And they showed me college don't matter.
It don't matter nothing.
If you got a trade. If you got a trade.
Because they're still going to take somebody with an H-1 visa and hire them first before you.
Right.
These the tech students were, even the Latino group were being hired 3-to-1 against black people, even though we were going to school for it. Right. And the studies show that it was plenty of black tech students, but they just weren't being hired in Silicon Valley.
Right.
So, you can't offer me education as reparations.
Right.
You can't say, oh, well, we'll create a program, and if you work harder, don't tell me I have to work some more for something that you owe me. No, you pay your debt. And that's what I can't say. The U.S. doesn't want to pay their debt.
To us.
See, that's the difference between equality and equity.
Right.
Because, see, they want to give us all the same box. But we didn't all have the same playing field. The playing field has been unleveled forever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you're going to have to even us out. You're going to have to, you know what I'm saying? You're going to, first of all, and make this whole, population whole.
Right.
We can't all be saying we all gonna move. We're all moving forward together. We're not moving forward together because it's lopsided.
Because my ladder needs to be taller than your ladder.
Right. In order for me to see. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, because that's where. So at that point, I do believe that that's a portion that we definitely later on we need to speak on. The difference between equality and equity. Because, we need equity. And that has to go hand in hand for us to even move forward as a people. Or the difference
between somebody asking for a handout and somebody saying, can you just pay me what you
owe me? Yeah. Right. That's it.
Right. There's people coming over to this country right now that didn't help build the brick in this joint.
Right.
And get
money. Get money. The minute they put their foot in
how many times we used to get people that will come into Social Security from Tibet and all over the place and be getting the full monthly benefit of $771 every month, would leave, go back home for months, and would only come back because they found out the benefit had stopped. Because what they would do is they would send out a letter, and you would have to respond to it. And if you didn't respond to it within a certain time frame, they would shut your benefits off. And then, but if you came into the office and said, "Oh, you shut my benefits off," blah blah blah, and we'll be like, "Okay, well, what happened?" Because we kept contacting you, and you didn't say anything. So what happened? Oh, somebody was sick, and I went home for a little bit. Okay, we'll come back with your tickets. And we want to see when you left and when you came back. And you're going to have to explain why you were gone for so long and how you were able to handle all of your bills if you needed this full benefit and you're not working. Right. Who was handling all your bills and how were you getting money and what was happening? Where'd you get the money to fly back home? But people who had never, ever paid a single shred of taxes come over here and get the benefit just like that.
Immediately.
And get the job and get everything. I know people... They don't even know where Tibet at, let alone to have the money to buy a ticket to fly there.
Right.
That were born and raised here and whose family has slaved here.
Right.
I mean, besides being born and raised here, my family slaved here.
Right.
And you mean to tell me I can't walk up the street without being afraid that the people that I pay taxes, the people that my tax dollars is going to pay them won't hop out, harass me, throw some false charges on me, and possibly kill me?
Yeah, that's that right there. That's one of the main topics that I look at because I talk about Grand Island a lot because I lived there for 2.5 years. Got pulled over 14 times. 13th time, that's when I had got surrounded. And I mean, I stayed in the complex where you only can go in one way and go out the same way. No way in, one way in, one way out, and I had a little beat up 78 Impala coming back here to the falls so I can exchange these phones that messed up on me. By the time I got to Whitehaven Road, two cruisers, two sheriff trucks, 3 sheriff cars, 2 Grand Island PDs, and 2 unmarked vehicles. I mean, you were sworn that like this was a movie. I'm sitting up there like, yo. But see, the thing is like I had a friend of mine once, and one of the times that I did get pulled over in Grand Island, a Caucasian friend of mine, he was like, he was like, hey, he was like, oh, that's fine, that's fine. I was like, man, this is normal, ain't nothing wrong. Well, he was like, man, maybe something's wrong I don't know. I'm like, nah, trust me, bro, I'm true to this, I ain't new to this. And they came. I said, here you go, officer. I said, why am I being pulled over? Your back light or something. Something's wrong with your back light.
5 cars for your back light?
What?
5 cop cars?
So, you know what happened?
What?
My friend was like, hey, you don't mind if I come out and check it? Went out to the back. I pushed the joint. Oh, it's bright as day out here. Everything looks fine. Oh, it's maybe the way you turned or whatever the case is. Now the all them other cars, that was a whole different joint. They actually cuffed me, put me in the back of one of the cruisers, saying that I matched the description of a light-skinned light skin, and 5'7", short hair. And at that time, I had dreads. My daughter was actually in her mom's stomach at the time, and they had actually like they cuffed me in front of all of my majority, I would say 90% white neighbors, because I was in Grand Island right off of Whitehaven. And so they see all of this circus and stuff so my thing, I'm saying all that to say is that
light skin,
right? You still right? But that's the truth. So you know what happens is when these cars, and then not just my own personal experiences, but what we are seeing, because they want us to get desensitized. That's why they keep showing it to us.
Right.
So our thing is they wanted to be, just another black person got killed by a cop. That's what they do. That's what they want to happen. Right. And the thing is that that's why I always talk about the frustration of the black American, because the true story is that you don't know how my heart beats when I see them lights behind me as a black man. Right. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't want to see color, but I have to live color. I have to wake up and this is exactly who I am and that's why I appreciate this platform, because we get to express all of the stuff. And that's why I say, we don't hold out. And that's what y'all going to get when you see the show. Y'all going to get our guests. That's why we're very strategic about who's on the show, because we're not gonna hold out. At how you feel and how you feel about a certain situation and our issues that we go through. At the end of the day, this is the stuff that needs to be heard. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is everybody is left to their own thoughts. You know what I mean? And if you don't have to deal with it, you know what I mean? You build that wall up and you don't hear this type of conversation and this type of dialogue, because a lot of people probably wouldn't expect all of this good, educational, very intellectual dialogue from young black men and women. And the thing is that everything isn't hood. Everything isn't just, sex and you know what I'm saying, sex and shooting and everything like that. You have righteous people who actually are want to better themselves, want to better, you know what I'm saying, wants a better community. I always talk about my kids. Everybody that know me, they know my fuel is my kids. That's why I'm here today. That's why we're here talking. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to make sure that this Niagara Falls that I choose to stay in and that I'm here is better for them than it is for me now. You know what I'm saying? So our thing is that our culture is beautiful, man. Yeah. I'm just gonna keep it A100, and we're proud people. You know what I'm saying? And people need to understand that we're not savages. We're not 3/5 of a human. We're people, and we are old. I mean, just call it what it is. You know what I'm saying?
And we are not what the media portray us as, because whatever is painted for any other nationality as far as thugs or gangsters, it don't get stained on them. It don't get stained on them the way it gets stained on us. Right. So we need that same generosity and what do you call it? Reverence,
consideration,
yeah, consideration for each other. Because how is it that you could have I watch so many damn Italian mobster interviews. They can kill. I watched one guy killed like 20 people. What was his name? Frank Ietti or Mike Ietti or something like that.
Iceman or something.
He worked for John Gotti. Uh-huh. And he's out right now. And it's like, dude, you killed so many people.
Oh, that was the one who snitched, though. That was Sammy the Bull.
Okay, Sammy. So it's like, you didn't kill all these people, but you got your freedom. You making money off telling how you killed people. Literally.
Your daughter was on Mob Wives.
Right, like, come on. Like, there's no black man that could come out and tell all of his hood murders if he's not being signed by Ellen Grange, somebody that's going to pocket most of his cash and profit off of it. Like, this man is literally profiting off telling real gangster stories.
Yeah.
So here's what we're gonna do, because we're a little over time, but no, but we good. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna have some closing statements, man. And like I said, I definitely appreciate my man. You know what I'm saying? Hugo, he here with us, and of course our other co-host, Asia. Big Baby. I'm sorry, because I'm putting your name. Big Baby Blanc. You know what I mean? So we're gonna start with Hugo. Hugo, hey, if there are any words or any thoughts that you would like to leave with people, what would that be?
Oh man.
Okay.
Nah, honestly, I would say it's certain books that I think all of us need to read. that's going to give you a base and understand the oppression that we have, endured and went through and still suffer with. And some of these books right here really opened my mind, because a lot of the times, we look at the situation we're in and think that we put ourselves there, or that, we can change it based on what we've done, or we're not doing enough, or it's your fault, it's my fault, this and that. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But we've been in America for 400 years and we still don't got no boots. It's 2020. We still sitting here now with new technology on a podcast trying to tell people, please don't judge us. We're humans. Come on. Know what I'm saying? So one of the books I think is necessary for as far as self-education would definitely have to be The Color of Money.
Color of Law as well. The
Color of Law. And is it The New Jim Crow?
Yeah, The Color of Law, The Color of Money, The New Jim Crow.
I read that one.
And Slavery by Another Name. Those books right there, where you can see
when affirmative action was white.
When affirmative action was white. But start with The Color of Money and The Color of Law. You can understand where the money comes from and how it trickles down, and why we didn't get any, and why our community is what it is, and why we live in the ghettos, and why we don't have anything. Our grandparents weren't lazy.
Our
grandparents weren't lazy. That's why they did not own houses. My grandmother owned the house because it was given to her. That's the only way that she was able to own a house, because it was given to her.
She was a hard worker.
She was a hard worker, and the house was given to her. You know what I'm saying? And generations beyond. So it's like, once you understand that, you'll see the situation that they were in and the situation that our generation was born in. And then the new oppression that came with the 94 crime bill, the crack epidemic, and just, so many other things that we have no control over, that's happening above our heads and really just falling on top of our heads.
Pre-planned.
You know what I'm saying? So I would say, those are books that are essential to anybody that wants to know what's going on and wants to understand our oppression, black oppression. Right there, and just work your way up and keep listening.
Sweet deal. Reading is fundamental. Big Baby, what you got to say?
Well, definitely thank you for inviting us on and allowing us to speak. And a platform like this is really important to have, and hopefully more people will be listening. And I think it's as much as it is important for people who don't look like us to be listening, it's just as or even more important for people who do look like us to be listening and to have a better understanding. And can I just read like a little bit of something just really quick?
Go ahead.
They're just some lyrics from Gil Scott-Heron. And I think it kind of goes with something that he was just saying about, why we are where we are and all that other stuff. But it's called Whitey on the Moon. A rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon. Her face and arms began to swell, and Whitey's on the moon. I can't pay no doctor bill, but Whitey's on the moon. 10 years from now, I'll be paying still while Whitey's on the moon. The man just upped my rent last night 'cause Whitey's on the moon. No hot water, no toilets, no lights, but Whitey's on the moon. I wonder why he's upping me 'cause Whitey's on the moon. I was already paying my $50 a week while Whitey on the moon. Taxes taken, my whole damn check. Junkies making me a nervous wreck. The price of food is going up. And as if all that shit wasn't enough, a rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon. Her face and arms began to swell with Whitey on the moon.
There we go. There we go.
Y'all get that?
Yeah.
No, that's real. No, hey, who's this? Who's
That's
lyrics?
Gil Scott-Heron. What's called Whitey on the moon.
So basically, we going through all this shit down here. We can't even live in peace.
Can't even make it.
However, in the country that we slaved in, our pressures
Built
are
on
on
your
the
back.
moon.
Yeah.
On the moon.
And you can't just not be killed when you come outside the door.
Yeah.
But they on the moon.
They on the moon. Yo, here we go, Mr. Kempsa.
I love this platform. I think the conversation we had today was excellent. It's perfect. It's definitely community building. Definitely something that we need to do more of. I'm excited for next week. If anybody was, I don't think anybody should have been offended, but no one should have been offended from watching this. I feel like
No apologies.
we should always be able to talk to one another. Like,
Yeah.
my anger ain't with Jim or Billy down the street. because
Right.
Jim and Billy didn't hurt me. You know what I mean? You still my friend. We probably grew up together, kindergarten together. Your family didn't hurt me, but you and your family should understand my plight, because all throughout my education, I had to understand yours, and I had to respect yours, and I had to learn to love yours, to the point where some of my people are so damn lost that they don't even respect the slaves that died for them.
Right.
So it's like, we got to start appreciating each other's lineage. As y'all said, we got to get our neighbors and our allies, our supposed allies, to start respecting us more and putting us on those same platforms and tables, because it's very unfair. And if you look in any major city, you'll see the disparities, you'll see the differences. So it's time we wake up and stop looking at parties to save us, and start saving ourselves as a people. And that's white people, that's black people, that's Mexican people. Stand up for your people, stand up for your rights, and stand up for your self-preservation. But we should do it with respect for our allies and our brothers and sisters. That's just how I feel.
Sweet deal, man. And I'm Dante Miles. Listen, let me tell you. Again, I appreciate this platform as well. And I do believe conversation is a must. I do believe that we have to. I believe that we have built walls of communication between. You know what I mean? Some people don't hear or don't want to hear, the plight of others. You know what I'm saying? So I think the thing is that we need to sit back and we need to get an education piece. It's always good. I always tell people, I'm going to learn till the day my box drop, until they put me 6 feet under. Because the day we stop learning, whether it's things or just from somebody else's experience or just from the past, you know what I'm saying? The day we stop learning, we become irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? And so I believe that us talking right now and everybody out here listening, I appreciate all of the comments. We will definitely be looking at these comments and kind of like putting it down, taking all of this stuff under consideration, and we try to shout it out and speak on it on next Saturday when we speak. It'll be on at 5:00. Today was a little different, you know what I mean, but we kind of freestyled it a little bit today. But this is pretty much an idea of what you're going to be getting from the Black Reality Unscripted. So thanks to the big baby. You know what I'm saying? Hugo, my man Kimsa. You know what I'm saying?
You the man.
Hey, and we'll be here again next same time, same channel. You know what I mean? Yo Wawa, listen. Yo Wawa, where you looking at now? YOWOWA Media. Look that up on Facebook. And this is where you'll be able to see us live. And we're out. Appreciate you.
Peace. Actually, peace this way.